Hey y'all, how about a friendship fire this evening? About to get that old log, that big old tree licked. It's been down, I guess, probably close to a decade. Big old tree that stood there. It had fallen across the driveway, and I've been beating it back, trying to burn it. Obviously, I see that I didn't really have much luck. If you see that charred, I was getting nowhere fast on that old stump. If it wasn't for friends, right? They say that family's not always tied to blood. It's tied to love. And I know some of us can't, they say you can't pick your family, but you can pick your friends. Well, I'm fortunate enough to have a good bunch of both. But old boy that used to run a full service gas station on North Street, went to church with him a little while over there on, I guess that's off 21 or 7 east side. But he and his wife, good folks. I ran into him in a cafe. Oh, it's been, I guess, 6 months ago. The first time I'd seen him in a couple of decades. Shook hands, said hello, and he lives right down the road here. He said, hey, do you have any problem? I see you trying to get rid of that tree. I don't reckon you have a chainsaw. I said, no, sir, but there's no rush. We'll get it done. He said, well, you wouldn't be offended if you came home one day and it was cut up into logs you could move around. And I said, well, I don't reckon. Time passed, and I've seen him from time to time. Well, I was over at my aunt's this morning and doing some work over there. And Jordan texted me, hey, Dad, there's some guy in a white truck cutting up that old stump. I said, get up there and help him, man. So he did that and disappeared down the road. So we piled it up, and we're gonna make another big dent in that thing. As soon as I get it all out of there, I'll put a nice, I'm thinking about some dogwoods or something there, I don't know, but some type of shrubbery. But kind of cool. Thinking a lot today about friends. I met a new friend with an old connection. It's funny about this place. So many of us don't have home places to go back to, and I wasn't necessarily raised here other than just coming up on the weekend, so I guess I don't know. This wasn't my childhood home. It was my grandmother's house, and those are just as special. But I'd encourage each of you, if you don't have that blessing, maybe tonight might be a good night if you got the grandkiddos and they're old enough to know what a picture is, or maybe they're in their 20s or 30s and they're over. Go pull out the old picture album and sit down and relive some good memories. And maybe they don't know about old Uncle Ted that jumped through fire one day. Maybe y'all can talk about that. Home's not a thing necessarily, it's a state of mind, and I think we'd do better to maybe celebrate it a little more often. A good friend over in Louisiana, I met her through the music business. We've been friends for several years now. She had the opportunity in the wake of her mother's passing to finally get back into that old home place, and we've chatted along the way a little bit, and she can now appreciate what years of disrepair can do to a house. But she's going through it little bit by little bit. She messaged me the other day and said, just didn't realize how much peace that you have coming back into an old place like that. It's kind of like your own base back when you played tag as a kid. I ever play tag in the woods at night? Well, I remember I did. I don't know if I can run through the woods now. But boy, you was looking for that big old oak tree that was base. Well, if you could just get there, you'd be all right. Well, I reckon I'm on base. But talking about this old place tying in things, so many memories, and it's really cool to have have some of the family stop by as they've been over the past few weeks. And I've had to bug them to come get some of this produce. None of them are trying to take it. Of course, they love it, but don't want to take advantage. So there ain't nothing advantage to be taken care of here. This has been family farm for years, and now it's back in swing, so come get you some food. But I had an old boy that I put that corn up the other day, and I fooled around and sold a few ears, but lost heart in trying to sit out there and sell it, so I've shucked it and pulled it off the cob, and I'm going to be making some, or canning some sweet corn sweet hot salsa or something. I found a recipe I'm gonna give a go this evening and put a bunch of pints up, so I'm looking forward to that. But anyway, he messaged and said, hey, is there any way I could come get some of them corn shucks or corn stalks from you if you hadn't cut them down? I said, well, sure. And said he uses them to decorate. I think they do some flea markets and things. And I used to love getting corn stalks when I was out in Waco. Of course, out there they do it for, I guess, silage or something. But they just mow it down, and I usually never got any. I like to put a few on the front porch in fall. Guess I'll have my pick of it this year. But he showed up the other morning, pulled up, he and his wife, we got to talking, and he got out of the truck and he got to looking funny at this old pasture. And of course I didn't know him from God's Green Acre, and he said, I believe I broke my collarbone in this pasture a few decades ago. I'm like, what? He said, he named off my first cousin. I said, yeah. He said, we was riding dirt bikes up here on there's a little old dirt path that he had carved out for motorbike racing, dirt bikes and all. And he said, I believe this is it. I said, no, this had to be it, because I remember that vaguely, but my cousin lived right across the road, so this had to be it. Funniest story about it, he said he broke his collarbone, and they carried him across the street to my aunt's house, and she's tough as nails and knew how to handle things, but they decided to load him up and go to the hospital. My cousin Donna was telling me she remembers it like it was yesterday. She stopped by this afternoon. So they loaded him up in the back seat. Of course, he was in pain, messed up his collarbone, headed over there to the old hospital. And they got him there and was taking him into the ER. And lo and behold, he had sat down in the back seat in all the rush and hustle and bustle. Aunt Tommy had bought a cherry pie. And he had sat in the middle of that cherry pie and was red all on his rear. And they got him in that ER, and they just knew that this man was bleeding to death out his rear end. It took them a while to figure out that was just cherry pie. It wasn't as bad as they thought it was. That's something. Yeah, so all the years and all the changes and things, them old corn stalks brought that back. Thought that was kind of cool. Good old boy, and glad to meet him and his wife and share some conversation and get rid of a few of these corn stalks for him. I offered to cut the rest of them down and store them out there in the barn. He said he didn't want to fool that many of them. I said I'd have another round of them this fall, so he could come back anytime. I used to like to send people out with eggs, but these days I'm having to sit there and mean mug those chickens just to lay one. I did let them out here in the last 30 minutes because I'm out here and they'll roost pretty quick, but having them locked down, we hadn't lost any more, obviously. Hudson's doing a good job of keeping the deer out of the peas. I'm telling you what, I am blessed beyond measure in so many ways, but this harvest, these peas, I think Jordan's sick of it, but he ain't said nothing. He just comes out here and gets after it with Dad. He knows it's got to get done. I mean, look at them pods. Look how long the things. I mean, I am just blessed. I think we're up to 6 bushels off of 400 feet of peas. That's not bad, is it? And we still got peas to pick. We got everything. I did a gleaner's pick today. Told Dad the other day I never can get that old story out of the Bible out of my head when I'm picking something like this, and trying to make sure I get it all, but leaving a few. Old Ruth and Boaz. Those of y'all that read the good book and had a little Sunday schooling will remember how she worked the field, but she was a gleaner back in those days, and just took whatever was left. And Boaz had took a liking to her and told his harvesters to leave a little extra for Ruth and her sister as they gleaned the fields. So I always think about that. Reckon Sunday school paid off a little. Well, I think that's pretty cool. I missed Miss Debbie today. She swung by and was going to try to work out some peas, but I wasn't on the property. But anyway, we'll get connected. I think Miss Dorothy out of Trinity Groveton area is supposed to load up a rooster and come this way. So we'll get back in the chicken production. Got a dozen biddies in there. They're doing fine. Another round will be hatching out around the 28th of this month. So we'll be able to flock up back as soon as we can. They do not like being in that big old coop, though. I have to sneak in real quick or they'll all run right past me. Of course, they don't know no better. They don't realize there's something out here ready to have chicken dinner. But they'll be all right. Do have one little old coyote. I know he ain't ate no chickens. He ain't big as nothing. Poor thing. He's probably been coming getting the leftovers when they were here. He's coming through all between midnight and 2, according to these cameras. But I'm surprised Hudson don't alert. I guess they just, since they're both dogs, they just do a head nod to each other and keep moving. Place is looking good. I did get to meet my neighbors today, and I kicked myself for not doing it sooner. I've been intending to go over here. I think that's sometimes what we lose, is that neighborliness, especially when we live in a big neighborhood or a city. Sad event when you don't know your neighbors around you. Let a catastrophe come through and firemen and police asking you, well, how many people live next door? I have no idea. What are the names? Couldn't tell you. And they're 50 feet away. What's wrong with us? Remember old Alexander Tocqueville? He came back over, well, way back in the day from Britain. He got to looking at our churches, trying to study why America was doing so good and the greatness of it. He said, America is great because its people are good. When its people cease to be good, America will cease to be great. And I think family and neighborliness is a big piece of that. So I was picking peas like a dummy at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and I figured I'd wait till this evening to finish it. And I did. And it was a little bit cooler. I guess it was about the difference in being in the top rack of the oven versus the bottom rack. But I got it done. But I decided to take a break and ease up the hill right up here and see who lived there. And it was an old place. There's an old pond back there. I don't remember ever interacting with them growing up. Didn't know if maybe it'd been sold 4 or 5 times. To my surprise, an elderly woman answered the door. A little suspect because I was coming to the front door instead of the back. Those in the country will know what the difference is. Figured I was selling something. They couldn't have been selling much though, in rubber boots and this old faded cap and t-shirt. So I told her who I was. I lived next door, didn't need anything. Just it felt bad not ever coming up there. I'd been here a year and just wanted to meet her. Well, she immediately welcomed me in when I told her who my grandmother was. And they've been in that house since I think she said 55. I got tickled. Her husband's with her. That was even neater. And they was looking at each other, both of them trying to remember. Look good for over 90 years old, both of them do. Then they got trying to figure out when they got married. That was cute. And she talked and talked and talked. And I loved every minute of that. Finally, she looked at her husband and said, Daddy, I'm talking too much again, ain't I? He just kind of looked at her and said, Baby, I'm used to it. Still baby after all them years. Miss Easley, the Easleys up there on the hill, was excited to know that this whole place was back around. They haven't driven in a couple of years, she said. Got a son that moved back close and takes real good care of them, she says. Keeps the yard mowed. Nice place. Looks better than mine. So that was really cool. Been up there a long time. Remembers my grandmother, my granddad real well, and my cousins. But, that was a joyful visit. And then I made the stupidest mistake that an East Texan could make when visiting in the summertime. I asked this young lady, I said, well, I'm doing a garden down there. Do y'all care for any purple hull peas? And she looked at me like I was crazy, like that was a question. So she said it was time for her shower. So when I returned with those peas, come to the back door and wave at Daddy, and he'd wave me in, and I could set them on the counter. So that's what we did. Grabbed up some tomatoes and a few banana peppers, good old quart of purple hull peas, and I guarantee that 90 plus years of experience will have them just right, probably tomorrow afternoon. I may be smelling it if that wind's coming from that way. But really good to visit with those folks. And now she's got my number. Should she need something, we can just run right up the hill, take care of it. I think we could all do better about that, right? I know my neighbor across the street to the left, and there's a mobile home park back there. I don't know if I got enough peas to go door to door over there. I might have to go into salesman mode. something tells me half of them probably don't know how to fix them. So it might take me a couple of weeks to get through all those folks. Time I teach them how to cook them. That's all right. Mr. and Miss Easley, 90-something years old, still in good health, and very blessed, and wanted me to know that's where their blessings came from. But I already knew that's how this all. Good stuff. Well, I guess that's about all the rambling I got this evening. Been a really productive day. Looking forward to seeing Dad tomorrow. I did pull enough cream crowders to make a few quarts. They'll be ready about another week on a massive scale. But my Aunt Carolyn, I guess it'll be my great aunt, second aunt, something. Anyway, one of my dad's best friends, his first cousin, is visiting after Dad had a trip down south with Wally, and she loves cream crowders. So I told her that I would scratch up a mess and bring her a couple of quarts of cream crowders so she gets the first pick. I did give my cousin Donna a bag today, so y'all don't tell her. Don't tell her she didn't get the very first bag, but it's close. I don't reckon it'll matter. Bagged them on the same day. Well, I got canning duties to do in the house, and act like I'm upset about it, but I'm really not. Look forward to getting that stuff done. Thanks to my good friend Melinda and that cooker in there, that steam cooker. That's really gonna make a quick work out of it. So we'll see how that goes. I guess I reckon I need to do a roll call real quick, and we'll call it an evening. Hope y'all have a restful Saturday night. You should go dig out some family photos, even if nobody's there. It's alright if you have a good cry. It'll be tears of memories of joy, hopefully. They say that salt cures all ills, right? Or salt water, is it? Tears, let's see, what is it? Tears, sweat, and the sea. So, I guess I could go with that. Let's see who all's on here, and we'll call it a night. Alright, there's Ron. 2 days in a row, yeah. I guess so. Trying to get it all in before I hit this rat race again during the week. But shoot, getting off at 5:30, you still got, what, 4 hours of daylight? Maybe 4.5 count the guard lights. We'll get it done. Good to see you, Ron. There's Margaret checking in from San Antonio. LaShara Fisher is in stormy Kansas. Nashville got hit hard last night. Goodness gracious. That was a mess. I guess I'm not going to do it too soon. Anyway, thank you, Margaret. I was going to make a skinny jean country joke. I don't believe I'll do it. Better, some things just better let alone, right? I'm going to let that alone. Hey, Kathy, how are you? Roxanne's checking in. Jamie Johnson Anderson, good looking fire. Yeah, that's a good one. Last time I made a big fire like that, Jordan got aggravated with me. He said, now, Dad, I was going to do a bonfire with that. So I went in there a while ago because this is a good one. Wood stack, it'll be burning in a minute. I said, son, before I light this fire, am I ruining any plans you make? And then he looks at me like I'm crazy. What kind of plans would I have with the fire in the summer? Anyway, so he let me light it. Yeah, it's a good looking fire. It's getting down to coals now. Guess I ought to go up there to Miller's and get me some of them slips and sweet potatoes and throw them in some foil and throw them in there. Guarantee if it was November, I'd be doing it. There's my Aunt Pat. Oh, can y'all hear that crackling fire? Well, I'll go over there then. I'm not standing too close now. I don't guess I've done sweated out about 3 times today. I guess one more time won't hurt. I look like an idiot by this road. 90-something degrees at 8 o'clock at night, standing by a fire. Anyway, do what you do, right? I don't know if you're gonna be able to hear it with the cars passing. I'll have to get me a hedgerow up here pretty quick. All right, man, that's too close. Can't deal with it. All right, let's see. There's Brenda from Arkansas. Kathy, evening blessings to you too. There's Brenda. Good evening from Arkansas again. There's Dorothy Dean. Thank you, Dorothy. Sent you a message earlier on that rooster. I guess we'll get together when we can on that. Brenda's in Beckville, look, checking in. Let's see, Connie. Pictures would include my childhood in East Texas. Well, that's pretty good childhood. Tricia's checking in from North Carolina. Thank you, ma'am. And there's Miss Kathy. Corn for the cattle. Chopped the stalks, fed them to them too. Yeah, well, them chickens got happy with them little old worm-eating ears I gave them today. So they have worms and corn. That's pretty good eating for a chicken, ain't it? Which of them are left? There's Andrew from Florida. I was just snapping, cracking. You have a bonfire, that's right. Cherry pie. Hey Donald, how are you, buddy? Good to see you checking in. Appreciate all you do and that precious daughter of yours. There's Kim from Dallas, Georgia. Shelly is watching. Let's see. Maria's checking in, waving from work. Don't tell anybody. Be quiet. Better mute it. I guess I shouldn't have said her name, huh? There's Joanne Smith. Boy, it was a hot one. It sure was. I've been, I shoveled mushroom compost today and picked a couple of bushels of peas. Whew. I think I went through 3 or 4 pair of jeans and as many shirts, I guess. Yes, Kathy, they are precious. They sure are. Oh, let's see, I done messed up and got out of my scroll here. Y'all hang on. Trying to catch up. Oh, there we go. Yep. Emily, it is. It's really cool. Roy says, God bless and eat more green peas. All right, that'll work. There's Trudy checking in. Janet, missing my grandparents' Semper Whale. I thank you for memories from Malakoff, Texas. Well, I didn't mean to make you cry, Janet, but hope it was good memories. There's nothing wrong with that, is it? Eat those sweet potatoes. Kansas City's checking in. Decker Prairie. Mike from California. Hey, Rhonda, how are you? Emily's in Tennessee. And yes, ma'am, Donna. Okay, you're my favorite. Let's see how I'm going to get this right. My favorite female cousin that lives on the left side, the underway on Woden Road. Yeah, that's it. Now I'm safe. How about that? You are one of my favorites, so you really are. Hey, Chris, there you are checking in. I was talking about you earlier in your old home place. And the feelings of peace and love, even amidst the mold and the underbrush and the snakes on the porch. And it's just something about it, y'all. And I think you can still get there. I know with Mom recently passing, digging out them old, get in that cedar chest. I mean, dig deep. Get them old pictures out. And sit there and look at them. I know you got them, but it's something different when you sit down and relax and stop from the harriedness of life and start looking through them old pictures and let the memories come back. It was a good time. It was what defined you, what made you. It's the good stuff. It's the reason you're working every day. It ain't for that new car payment. Anyway, here I go on a rant. Anyway, enjoy the small moments. They matter. And appreciate family and your friends especially as well. Remember, family's not blood. It's tied together with love. So, some of you that may not have the best family in the world, hope you got some good friends to lean on. Because that's everything. All right, y'all have a good evening. Be the light. We'll talk with you later.